Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be getting into how I got by booktube and ended up with all of this behind me. Now, I'm not trying to escape personal responsibility. Obviously, this didn't just get here overnight. I know that I did this to myself, but the thing is that the overconsumption of it all is no longer resonating with me. Having this many books feels completely overwhelming. So in this video, I am going to completely unhaul, I want to say half my books. Is that ambitious? I don't know. We'll get into it. But before we get into that, I do want to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Shortform. If you've never heard me talk about Shortform before, basically they have thousands and thousands and thousands of book summaries, detailed descriptions of all of the best nonfiction books. Now, why would you want a book summary? Well, for me, I use Shortform for a variety of different reasons. Number one, my time to read is limited. I am a girl bossing type of woman, okay? I have a lot of things to do in a day, so my reading time is very precious, specifically for nonfiction books, because let's be honest, I would rather use my exploratory time to read fiction. So when I pick up a nonfiction book, I want to make sure that it's going to be something really valuable to me and that it is what I'm looking for. So you can get an idea of what you're going to be learning in the nonfiction book by checking out the short form summary. It's also great if you're going to be writing a paper or doing an essay. Like for me, I use the short form guide to All About Love by Bell Hooks to inform a video essay that I'm going to be making later this year on that book. Obviously, I read the entire book, but it's so much easier to have the short form guide to look at quickly when I'm writing a script and formatting my video. And even if you haven't read the books that you want to get into for writing a paper, you can narrow down your list of what you do want to read and you do want to use to write a paper or make a video essay by reading the information straight from the summary on short form. So obviously these summaries are not a replacement for reading the book. I do want to make that clear, but there are so many valuable uses for accessing all of these nonfiction book summaries on short form. They also have interactive exercises to check your learning of the books. It can help you both narrow down your TBR by making sure that you're actually getting the knowledge that you think you're going to be getting when you pick up a book, and expand your TBR if you're looking for books similar to books that you've already read and enjoy. Ultimately, short form is just a great resource for readers, especially readers of nonfiction or those of you who want to get into nonfiction. So if you want to check out short form, you can use my link down below and get a free trial, and then you can get some money off your subscription as well after that free trial ends. Thank you so much to Shortform for sponsoring this video. Make sure to go down below and check it out. And now let's go ahead and get into the book reorganization. I'm not just going to be collecting editions for no reason, keeping 3-star thrillers that I'm never going to think about again on my shelves for no reason. My space is valuable, and I'm going to be cutting the fat. I'm also going to be completely reorganizing my bookshelves after I do that, making sure that they're clean and pristine, organized in the way that I want so I can see everything that I have available to read. And throughout our little journey of unhauling and reorganizing, I'm also going to be talking about how I got to this point. Like 3 or 4 years ago, I did not have a home library, so it happened extremely fast. And I think there were some huge things mentally and because of the way the booktube works that made me susceptible to normalizing this gross overconsumption that's happening behind me. I also want to talk about how getting to this point has negatively affected me as a whole, obviously financially, but also mental health wise, and it's affected my relationship with reading. Having all of this at your fingertips does not make you a better reader, and it also doesn't help you enjoy books anymore. And I'm gonna tell you the truth of that, or at least the truth of my experience with that. And then I want to talk about how I'm going to prevent this from ever occurring again in the future, and how I'm going to approach reading after coming back from this overconsumption. No, I'm not going to be doing a read to zero challenge. No, I'm not going to be trying to clear out my physical TBR. I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach. So buckle up. This is probably going to be quite a long one. So let's talk about how we got to this state. I don't know exactly how many books I have, but I suspect that I have around 1,000, between 1,000 and 1,200 books. It took almost an entire day just to move my books when I moved into this new apartment, and I think that is absolutely ridiculous. Now, how did this occur? I do partly blame booktube and the culture of booktube. There are so many videos on how booktube encourages overconsumption. I don't think this is a new idea at all in the slightest. I've watched a few video essays that I really enjoyed on this topic, and it really resonated with me. So yes, I do think it's booktube's fault, but what people aren't really talking about on the topic of overconsumption on booktube is that it's not just this evil booktube machine making people overconsume. It's also a personal responsibility. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this didn't just appear overnight, and booktube the machine didn't buy all these books, okay? I was not a booktube informed robot just walking around the store picking up books and swiping my card. Like, girl, this is on me. And I think there are a lot of factors that make someone susceptible, or at least I found made me susceptible to getting to this point. The first big factor that I want to talk about is that I found success, and I found connection, and I found validation in making book reviews and book content. Although my personality and the way that I make videos is extremely different now from the way that I started booktube 5 years ago, I still had an instant connection pretty much with my audience. I experienced connection and made friends really easily on booktube, and I was really surprised how much this community embraced me early on. I literally could get emotional talking about it because it felt so good when I started my channel in the middle of the pandemic to feel like I had friends and I had people and I wasn't just stuck alone in my house scared. So I kind of got pulled in to this culture and this community because I was desperate for connection. Obviously, it was in COVID. I was also in grad school and I was overrun with a lot of new ideas and a lot of stress, and I needed an outlet and people to talk to. And of course, when you start to talk about something on the internet and you start to gain connection and you get all these positive comments, and maybe even the people that you're not friends with are telling you really positive things. They're telling you that they like your thoughts on a book. They're telling you that you're pretty. All of that builds your ego. Like, just the sense of validation that I got from posting early on felt so good, especially for like a really young, really confused, really insecure girl that I was in my early 20s. That felt absolutely incredible to me. Like, I cannot make this clear enough. I was not popular growing up and like in school. I didn't really have a lot of friends. Even within my like theater kid kind of niche, I didn't feel very accepted by the people around me. If you went to high school with me, then you probably know like everybody kind of hated me, whether it was because I was annoying or because I was a insert horrible misogynistic term here, or because I had some mental health things going on at the time that people did not understand, or just because I was into things that people thought were lame. Like, I did not experience a sense of validation and ego growing up. So all of a sudden, having that rushing at me on the internet at a time when I was really isolated and really needed connection, that was completely overwhelming. And then of course, I'm finding success in this niche of books and reading, something I've always been really genuinely interested in. So it finally felt like I was valid and I had a place to belong. And I think experiencing experiencing all of that at the same time just made me buy in. Like immediately I was drinking the booktube Kool-Aid and I didn't even have a moment where I did that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have a moment where I had two options. I could either not drink the booktube Kool-Aid and kind of retain some of my connection to who I am as a person and what feels right and what feels wrong, or I could just drink the Kool-Aid and go along with whatever booktube culture promotes and normalizes. I never had that buy-in moment. It just kind of gradually happened without me noticing because the connection and the validation was so delicious. So I kind of ended up subscribing to all of these booktube cultural ideas without a sense of checking in with myself, without a sense of agency, or at least recognizing that I had agency in it. I wasn't very discerning with the parts of the booktube community that I wanted to keep and the parts that I didn't want to subscribe to. I just kind of bought all in because I was coming from such a desperate place that I thought that was the only way that I could keep this new sense of connection and community and validation. I was so scared to possibly lose that. And when I bought into booktube, I wasn't just buying into the community and connection and all the things that I liked. I was also slowly getting normalized to this idea that everyone, or at least the really popular, successful, valid people who are very well connected in the community, has these extensive home libraries. It got normalized to me so fast because every single day I was watching people and their background looked like this, and I was FaceTiming my friends and their backgrounds looked like this, and everyone would do book hauls with 50 plus books every quarter. It just was so normalized to have an obscene amount of books that I thought, okay, well, this is normal. That's what I need to do too, especially if I'm going to cement my place here and not lose all of these valuable things that I've gotten and never had really fast. I have to assimilate. I have to overconsume to match the overconsumption around me without ever really being critical or discerning if that's something that I wanted. So that is how I kind of got to this point where I succumbed to the overconsumption culture on booktube. I think those are the things that made me vulnerable. But over the past couple years, I've done a lot of healing. I've done a lot of developing as a person, and I've really strengthened my sense of agency in myself and my sense of discernment. And once that kicked in regarding my relationships, regarding my values, things like that, it became increasingly obvious that I also needed to do some discerning about what is going on around me. Because I started to notice that having all of this and assimilating into booktube culture did not actually lead to what I was hoping, which is to keep a sense of connection, a sense of community, a sense of validation. The internet is a fickle beast. Booktube is a fickle beast. My audience is a very fickle audience. Okay, sometimes I think things are really gonna resonate with you guys and it doesn't. Sometimes I think I'm just being myself and it's totally fine. I get horrible backlash, and I do welcome criticism. I think it's always good to have some self-reflection and be introspective and have a level of awareness. But people on the internet don't put it like a therapist puts the self-reflection. You know what I mean? The way that people invite you to self-reflect on the internet is basically by slamming you over the head with a hammer until you get it, and that's not really effective. It just does this shaming thing. So all of that to say, it wasn't the sunshiny rainbow, ego boost, wonderfully connected community for me the entire time on booktube, whether I was subscribing to this culture of overconsumption or not. Those two things operated independently of each other, and I did not understand that because there was this really strong overcoupling in my mind and in my body of, if I buy in to this culture, including overconsumption, then I will get to keep all of the good stuff that booktube has brought me. Success, validation, community. Even though these two things are completely independent, I had just connected them in my mind because of my early experiences. Getting into the actual organization portion of this video, I feel like I need to show you where we're starting. Like, this state of things, and it is quite embarrassing. This is trial by fire. Like, this is maybe a little bit of a humiliation ritual, but I need to just do it because it's the reality. So this is my filming room in my apartment. Obviously I have my lights for filming. I have my desk, like where I work every day. I have my yoga stuff back there. This is not the problem. Neither is this. I feel like I keep this area organized. It's like more of my work stuff. These books that are stacked up on top of my printer are things that I'm already ready to unhaul. I decided as soon as I read those books that I was gonna unhaul them. So that's kind of my little organization unhaul corner. But then just out of frame, we have this. So when I make a book video, I don't like to put the books back on my shelves after I film because it feels like an overwhelming task. So they tend to pile up on the floor, okay? There's also some over here. There's some stacks over here. There's a fallen stack there. My book cart was organized at some point in time, but it's definitely not now. And then of course we have these two shelves over here. These are my unread books. So this is my physical TBR, just these two shelves, and of course some of them are mixed around on the floor somewhere. But for the most part, this is my physical TBR. It's not as ridiculous as some people's. I will say I've watched videos that I'm like, holy mother shit, like mine I feel bad about, but it's not even scratching the surface of that. Maybe I'm just trying to make myself feel better because this is hard. But there's that. These three shelves over here, these are my read books. Like, this is really my home library of books that I've read and I would like to keep. But of course, we're gonna be more discerning about this and see if I actually do want to keep them. Before we get to the shelves, I think I need to tackle the floor and the cart. I think what I'm gonna do is just start sorting all these books into piles. I don't want to put them back on the shelves because I'm gonna go through all the shelves after this, but I'm going to sort out the books that I have read versus not read. And then within those two categories, I want to split those two into two more categories. Books that I have not read that I don't want and I want to unhaul versus the ones that I want to keep on my physical TBR. Those that I have read that I'm keeping, and those that I have read that I'm ready to unhaul. So let's get into it. I'm sitting on Boba's little fluffy rug here that she hasn't even been able to use. Her poor little Bone is here. I think she had another toy in here too. She might have came and got it while I was filming earlier, but she hasn't even been able to lay in her place because all this mess is here. So a lot of these I'm going to be keeping because they're my best books of the year. And obviously I'm not going to be unhauling favorites of all time. I could never get rid of her. I could never get rid of her. It's not even my pretty edition, but I love this book so much. I'm definitely gonna keep 2 editions of this book, okay? I never said that I wasn't still a delusional fangirl just because we're no longer doing overconsumption, okay? It's fine. Okay, I've gotten through my first pile. All of these were read books, so I didn't have to worry about splitting out the categories between read and unread. These are the read books that I'm keeping. These are all the ones that I'm unhauling, and I'm unhauling ones that I really honestly do enjoy. I like a lot of these books, but some of them I just don't feel like I want on my shelves. Like, I don't need every single Christmas thriller on my shelves, and in the future I'll probably get those on my Kindle or from the library. I also don't need multiple copies. So like, if you're seeing The Fury on there and you're like, wait, she gave that 5 stars, this is one of her favorites of the year. I just don't need multiple copies on my shelves. I also don't need ARC copies. So things like The Fairweather Friend, which I really enjoyed, also getting rid of that. I'm about to do the same thing with all of these books. Wish me luck. I've been steadily working my way through the floor and the cart. I only have this bottom layer of the cart left and like what's here on the floor because these are all the new books that I've hauled in the last 3 months. If my discernment kicks in and I really have to unhaul something that I bought like a month ago, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm actually not. I'm actually stable. I'm actually fine. But it's gonna definitely prompt some self-reflection. Also, my disco balls are literally falling off. I have to redo my disco balls because they've been completely ripped off of the side here by all the egregious amount of books that I've had. I guess this is going to be a little bit of a haul portion because I haven't talked about any of these books. I literally got them in the last few months. A lot of these were given to me for Christmas, so take that with what you will. I have Itch. I'm obviously going to keep that. I have First Sign of Danger. This is an arc that I requested. I do want that. This is about a Saturn return. Dollface. This is an arc I requested. I do want to read that. The Captive. I don't know what this is, but it is an arc that sounded interesting. It's a maybe. Best Offer Wins I wanted. This is the new Karen Slaughter that was kindly gifted to me by Amanda, a sweet girl that I met from being on booktube, so obviously I'm keeping that. This I bought at Texas Book Fest, and this I got given at Texas Book Fest, and I do want to read them. This I picked up in Seattle as more of a keepsake because I don't do like dumbass souvenirs. I'd rather get a book from a place. So I don't know if I'll actually end up reading this, but I definitely do want to keep it. Girl Dinner I just got from Aardvark. Haven't Killed in Years I also think I got from Aardvark. I did just also cancel all my book subscriptions, by the way. A Curious Kind of Magic. This was sent to me. I don't know. This one's also a maybe. Gorgeous. I'm really excited for that. Phantom Forest by Liz Kieran. I'm so excited for this. Are you kidding me? I love Liz Kieran. Delilah S. Dawson. Yes. Jess Hageman. Yes. Yes. These are her two like book stamper things. It like stamps this thing so I can label all my books, which I do want to do that. My boyfriend got me this little system for Christmas, so obviously I'm keeping that. And then my boyfriend got me these for Christmas, and this copy of Sunrise on the Reaping is definitely going in a prized spot, so I'm gonna set her aside. Also, I think this is gonna be my next read, so obviously I'm keeping these. These were sent to me in my book exchange. New Christina Henry, new Mike Bakovin, new Laurel Hightower, new Heather Gudenkopf, and new E. Lockhart. This was a haul that I did from one of my favorite indie bookstores. I literally bought all of these new releases, so I do want to read them, I'm not gonna lie. I also have this signed, personalized copy of Burnt Sparrow, one of my best books of the year that Eric LaRocca, the author, kindly sent me. So I'm gonna have to unhaul my ARC copy, but it's annotated. See, this is hard because I don't want to ruin this pristine copy, but I want to keep my annotations. I might have to keep both. It is one of my favorite books of all time, so I feel like that's maybe allowed. You know what? I get to decide what's allowed. It's allowed, okay? This one I just got book of the month. I literally kept my book of the month for 1 month longer so I could get the new Alice Feeney, so I'm keeping those. The new Emily Austen, I did want. The new Andrea Mara, I did want. And then this is another arc of a thriller that I don't know what it's about. So all the maybes right now are arcs. I have to decide if I want these, if they're going to be interesting to me or not. And after I make those decisions, we'll check in with my piles and move on to the shelves. Okay, so I actually have 3 piles here. These are the unread books that I'm keeping, and I know this looks big, but it's because a lot of these books came from TBRs in the last few months that I haven't read yet, but I am still really excited about, and new books that I've hauled in the past few months. These are the only books of all of that I've read and I'm keeping. These 2 Leaning Tower of Pisa stacks are what I'm getting rid of, both of what I read and I haven't read yet. All the maybes I just went ahead and put in the get rid of it pile. That is kind of the state of things at this point. I have to work in 30 minutes, so I think I'm gonna pause before I get into the actual, like, getting into the nitty-gritty of my shelves. What I'm gonna do is take all the accoutrement off my shelves, like these little guys and things, get to it eventually, and then I can reorganize it and make it cute. I'm gonna shove my piles somewhere and I'm gonna eat. Then I'm gonna work and then we're gonna get back to it. So now let's talk about how having all of this negatively affected me. I know it can feel extremely privileged and probably tone deaf to be like, I have all of this and I'm miserable. But that kind of is the reality. I'm not gonna say that I'm miserable. I don't think I've ever been miserable for having all of this excess. It does make me feel icky and shameful and disgusted when I think about how I could have used not only the funds but also the space differently, and how I could have, you know, not bought into capitalism, consumerism, etc., etc. Obviously that makes me feel a kind of way, and it is a negative kind of way, so that did impact me. But beyond that, there are financial, psychological, and literary ways that having this excess affected me really negatively. Let's start out financially. I mean, obviously having a home library is a huge investment. When I think of the thousands and thousands of dollars I spent on books, obviously there's a little part of me that is happy about that. Like, I feel extremely grateful and extremely privileged that I had the funds to create this mess. But a part of me is also completely sickened when I think about the fact that I could have been investing this money in somewhere, and instead I invested it in just having these things, these physical objects around me. It feels very superficial, very shallow, and it's not something that I'm proud of. I kind of look back and I question my judgment. Now, of course, I can have a level of understanding for where I was at because of what I talked about earlier. I didn't have the level of discernment that I do now around my values. And I definitely do think I was using buying books to fill a void, especially when my library made the biggest jump that it did. From like 2021 to 2023 is when I actually bought the majority of the books that you see behind me. And those were the 2 years that I was planning my wedding, and I was in a really, really not great relationship. I was completely dissociated from that. I was completely in denial, and I was using basically anything I could to fill the void, including reading, buying books, and escaping into the unreality of the booktube universe. I have a whole video about my divorce from my ex-husband and all the mental health circumstances around that. So if you want to hear more about that, I will link that video up above and down below. But yeah, that was the negative space that I was in, and I was definitely using the book buying to fill the void, which obviously didn't help me with being self-aware and discerning about my relationship either. But yeah, clearly we can see there has been a financial hit taken by having all of this. From a mental health lens, psychologically, having all of this surrounding me has been pretty negative as well, because I come in this room and I look at all of these books and there's this idea that it should make me happy. It looks beautiful. It looks like everything that I've ever wanted, that I dreamed about as a little girl when I wanted to be Belle living in a library, which is still like a fantasy dream that I think about. And I feel this pressure to just be happy and not complain. It's like a self-shaming, self-gaslighting thing where I'm telling myself, look at all of this, you should be happy, there's no reason to be sad. So even if I am sad, or even if I am having a bad time on booktube, or even if I'm not feeling inspired, or I'm not enjoying making content, which happened a lot at the end of last year, I'm kind of gaslighting myself and telling myself that I'm not allowed to feel any of those things because I have the image and the perception of happiness and abundance and success and validation and community on booktube. Like, I should just be feeling that. And there's something wrong with me if I'm not feeling that. That kind of psychological phenomenon of just being in this room every day, not fun at all. And I completely understand that as I'm saying this, some people might want to say like, oh, boo-hoo, you are sitting in this place of privilege, and that is totally fine. Like, that is valid. You can have that take. I'm just telling you how my experience has been, and it's not good. It hasn't been good. As the person who experienced it, not great. not a great feeling. But probably the biggest way that having this home library has affected me negatively is within my actual relationship to literature. Like, my relationship to reading has been so negatively affected by having this excess. I feel completely overwhelmed by choice. I feel like things really can't be effectively organized, so I don't even know what I have. I don't like the feeling of chaos and organization. It is just completely overwhelming, and there are a lot of sources of pressure. Like, I will look at my shelves, and I'll just give you an example right now of, like, I'm seeing these new release thrillers that I'm like, oh my god, I should make a video about that. Oh my god, I haven't made a video about them when they first came out, and now I feel bad, and I feel like I missed the trend, and I feel like it's not going to be good for me. And then at the same time, I'm seeing like iconic fantasy series that I missed the boat on. I feel like pressure to read that, and then I'm looking at the stuff that my eye is actually drawn to and that I do want to read, and I'm like, but I can't do that because look, it's surrounded by all these other things that I haven't gotten to that I should get to. And then we're not even going to talk about all of the arcs that I see, all the dates on the spine of when the books are supposed to release and I'm supposed to have them read by. All of this excess just serves as more and more and more sources of pressure around what I quote unquote should be reading at any given moment. And as someone who uses reading time as leisure, as decompression, as a time to come back to myself and regulate, the last thing that I want to do is taint that resource with pressure. And the more books that I own, the more pressure that there is. So I started to sometimes resent reading, sometimes just be exhausted by the idea of reading before I'd even picked up my book. I started to schedule out my reading. It just no longer felt like a natural, accessible thing. And I talk a lot about this kind of negative effect in particular in my 2026 reading goals video. Again, if you want to hear more on that, I'll link it up above and down below. But basically, I talk about my goals for this year being to heal that relationship with reading that has been so damaged partly by this overconsumption, by intentionally reading less, reading slower, owning less books. If you want to do that, or you're just curious about that concept, you can watch my reading goal video because I do go into depth over there. So yeah, it's safe to say that overconsumption does not just affect the planet and capitalism, consumerism in a negative way. It also does affect me on an individual level. And that is kind of the missing piece. Like, when I've watched overconsumption videos on booktube in the past, I've heard a lot of like the facts and figures, and it feels like kind of intangible. And of course, these intangible effects are extremely important, like the environmental impact of overconsumption I'm pretty passionate about. But I feel like people are missing that beyond this kind of abstract macro lens, there is also a negative effect on a micro individual lens. Just me having all of this, which you think would be really great in practice, and the only reason why it's bad is because of the wider effects of overconsumption. And no, not true. It also has affected me on an individual level badly. Okay, hi, hello. I have eaten, I saw a few clients, and now we're gonna get to the nitty gritty. We're actually going to tackle these shelves. These shelves. Ugh, I'm scared. I feel like I need to talk you through it. Okay, I feel like we're gonna talk you through it, girls. When she talks you through it, I'm gonna start with my read books. I just feel like I kind of already know what I want to get rid of. I think paring down my physical TBR is going to be a little bit more challenging, but with these, I kind of already have an idea of where I want to start. So this shelf is pretty much all thrillers, except for there's one shelf down here that is all my romances, which I'm guessing I'm not going to keep a ton because I don't love a ton of romances. But let's just start at the top. The Women in Cabin 10, I love this book. I haven't had a copy for a really long time, but do I need a copy? That is the Netflix cover. Maybe not. Oh god. Oh god, oh god, oh god. For Better and Worse by Margot Hunt, I do love this book. If I ever want to reread it, I believe it's available on Kindle Unlimited. This copy is ripped. Someone in a little free library would be blessed by that. The Appeal, I did give 5 stars. I'm not gonna lie, I do love it. I might keep that one. All the Sinners Bleed. So I actually have this book on audio and as an ebook. I do own both, so I don't think I need a third copy. I think someone would love that. Blacktop Wasteland, I do own on audio. I don't have the ebook, and I do want a physical copy of this book, so I'm gonna keep it. My Darkest Prayer, I didn't love, and I'm trying to intentionally not do the thing where I'm like, oh, I have one book by a certain author, so I need their whole backlist, their whole collection on my shelves. No. If I've given every book by an author 5 stars and there's one 3.5 star, which is the case with this, I don't need it. The plot, I did give 5 stars, but I don't like the cover. I literally don't like the cover. It has some sticky stuff on it. I don't want it. So I'm really just trying to unhaul as much as I can. I don't want this shit, okay? The Party by Robin Harding. I do love this book. I gave it 5 stars, but I don't like that this is a teeny tiny little copy. It annoys me. The Swap is a 3 star. It's Getting Out. The Perfect Family, I love. It was 5 stars. Really like this copy, and my friend sent it to me, so I think this is a keep. The Haters kind of triggered me. The Drowning Woman, I gave it 3.5. I don't need it. The Arrangement, I low-key loved this book. I just kind of really liked this book. I don't know. I think I might keep her. The Spare Room, I love this book. I want to keep it. This book will bury me. Obviously, I'm keeping it. What Have You Done? I love that book. I'm keeping it. Last Housewife, Midnight is the Darkest Hour. Yes. Keeping. Sherry Lapina, I love Not a Happy Family. I love Everyone Here Is a Lying. I love An Unwanted Guest. However, I didn't love the end of her, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Like, I'm not just keeping it because it completes my Sherry Lapina collection. We are not doing that today, girls. So I'm basically gonna do that same thing with all the rest of the thrillers on this shelf and this one shelf of romances. I will check in with you when I've done that. Okay, the first shelf has been emptied. I also went through my puzzles down there and got rid of a few, but wow, this feels so good to have an empty shelf. I literally only have up here the Riley Sagers that I'm keeping, the Karen Slaughters that I'm keeping, the Lisa Jewels that I'm keeping, and the Alice Feeney books that I'm keeping. All the other books that I'm keeping are in this stack, and then I stacked up some of the romances right there with my other books that I was going to be keeping. So I'm trying to keep them all in like a semi-accessible place so I can put them back on the shelves. Next up, we're going to move on to the middle shelf. All of this, and this are horror and thriller that are just like mixed all together. So I guess I'm going to be sorting those out as I go through. Hey Mochi, what you doing, King? You want to help me organize books? I know, what's going on? There's a lot going on. I know, we're in chaos, it's fine. Okay, how lovely. My camera died halfway through going through this shelf. So I did the top 2. I'm about to do the bottom 2. I pretty much am getting rid of half my books. Like, it feels really good. Okay, shelf 2 of read books done. We've gone through it. The only thing I kept up here were obviously my 2 copies of Pretty Girls, my signed first edition and my sprayed edge paperback. They're staying up there. I did keep all my Grady Hendrix books, and I kept my A.R. Torres, most of them. The ones I didn't like I got rid of, but yeah, and the kept books have only grown a little bit. So I think I'm gonna move on to my last shelf over here. I have all my fantasy and my Rachel Harrison books over here. I have nonfiction and historical fiction on this shelf. Contemporary magical realism type of stuff there. More contemporary weird stuff there. And then right down at the bottom here, I have my YA. So I'm gonna have to move my cart so I can really get in here and dig. Okay, I finished the bottom 2 shelves, and the only ones that I left down there, I don't even know if you can see. I left all my Taylor Jenkins Reid because I'm not unhauling any Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm pretty sure I've given every single one of her books 5 stars. And I'm also keeping the entire American Royals series and the entire Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. But let me show you how much I'm getting rid of from those 2 shelves. All of these 2 stacks I'm getting rid of. And honestly, I love a lot of these books. I just don't think I need them. I literally just don't think I need them. Please don't think if I'm getting rid of a book like, oh, I took that recommendation from her, she said she loved it. I do. I probably do. But I don't need the physical book. You know what I mean? We are freshening up. That's what we're doing. I'm getting rid of all the To Boys I've Loved Before, The Summer I Turned Pretty, all the Truly Devious books, like, oh God, those books piss me off. I'll be happy to see those go. Just so much YA that I'm getting rid of, and I really like a lot of these books. Honestly, I just truly don't feel like I need them. Once I tackle these last 3 sections, I will be through my read books, and then I can put all my read books on the shelves, organized in a way that I like. Let's do it. Yes, I'm keeping 2 copies of 1984 and The Great Gatsby. Those are 2 of my favorite classics, so leave me alone. Okay, I kept, obviously, my Fourth Wing books. You can see Fourth Wing hidden over there, and then I have the Throne of Glass series, and I also kept the Rachel Harrison books. I just moved them from a fantasy shelf to a horror shelf. Obviously, I also kept my Rebecca Searle, one of my favorite authors, and Frederick Bachman's. So yeah, we are cleared out, and I'm gonna start to reorganize. I'm gonna try my best to put all my thrillers on these 4 sections. I don't know how that's gonna go. We might have some spillage onto here, but I want to do thriller, horror, everything else. We'll see how it goes. done it. I've done it. I've done it. Y'all, look at how much better this looks. It just feels open and light and free. Look, okay, we're gonna start over here. This is my fantasy shelf. Every fantasy book that I own, plus one sci-fi book, fits up here. Down below, I have all my weird girl lit fic magical realism vibes, plus the Coffee Gets Cold series. Down below there, I have all of my nonfiction, all of my classics, and then the Spy Family books that I've read so far. I have Women Living Deliciously facing out because I need it accessible. I'm doing a video on it, and I just like the look of it. Below that, I kind of have random stuff. I have all my Taylor Jenkins Reid, my Frederick Bachman, my Agatha Christie's that I kept, and my Fear Street collection. And down below that, I have all of my YA books with room to grow. The middle shelf, I have all of my contemporary romance up at the top. Down below that, I have horror. Specifically, I have all of my Grady Hendrix books and all of my Rachel Harrison books with a stack of my favorites in the middle. And then I have Shy Girl facing out right here. Below that, I have some more horror books. These are all just like random horror with some random horror stacked on top, random horror over here, and then dark romance stacked in the middle. I was thinking about putting the dark romance on there. I might see how that looks and change that. And then down below, I have more horror paperbacks, and they're all visible. There's none double stacked. Over here, I have my thriller shelf. So I have all the Riley Sagers, all the Sherry Lapinas, all the Karen Slaughters, and all the Alice Feeney books that I kept. Below that, I have all my Ashley Winstead books, plus those girls, because I just felt like it needed to be in a special place. I have my little Addams Family book nook thing, and then these are all my Lisa Jewell books. Down below, this is where it kind of started to get chaotic. I have all my hardcover random thrillers behind, and then two stacks plus a mini stack back there of paperbacks. Then down below, I have more hardcover thrillers with a stack of A.R. Torre, Jennifer Hillier, and Liv Constantine separated out. I think I am gonna put that stack of dark romance up there, and if it fits perfectly, it might just be meant to be. Okay, it did fit perfectly. Wow, look at that. So organized. I can literally see every book that I own, with the exception of this shelf. There's like 8 hardback thrillers that are covered. I feel like I've done half of it, you know? Now we just have this half, my physical TBR, all the books that I haven't read, and I feel like unhauling these is gonna be a lot harder, but I'm excited for the challenge. All right, the sun is going down, and I'm about to have to do my latter half of the day of sessions, but I wanted to show you that I went through pretty much like half of one shelf. I'm getting rid of all of these, another stack of like contemporaries that's already leaning over here, so I'm not going to show you these thrillers and these thrillers as well. And it's kind of painful to get rid of books that I haven't started yet and I don't know if are good. That's why I have this whole shelf that's like still here. These are all thrillers that I've kind of been stuck on a maybe if I want to get rid of them or not. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at reviews and just kind of see what's worth keeping and what I'm okay to part with. But I'm gonna take a break, go to work, and then because this is so much of a bigger task than I anticipated, my boyfriend's gonna come over after I'm done with work and help me with the rest of it. So now I kind of want to talk about how I'm going to change moving forward, how I'm going to prevent this absolute explosion from ever happening again. I think number one, just leaning into my sense of agency and discernment, tapping into my values and what actually feels good, healthy, safe for me before I buy a book, before I expand my shelves, before I pick up something new. I want to have those self check-ins. I also want to do those check-ins as I'm looking at my shelves and seeing like, oh, okay, there's a little bit of space. Like I haven't picked up a new release in a few months, so let me go have a little half-price books day. That sounds fun. That feels so much better than blindly going into half-price books, buying a bunch of new releases because I feel like I should, because I need to read them, because y'all deserve to hear the reviews, and then bringing it home, not having a place to put it on my shelves and feeling even worse. I want to be clued in. I want to be discerning. And also I want to be aware if I'm using book buying as a crutch to kind of fill the void like I talked about in my marriage, I think because I've used reading as a coping mechanism since I have been really, really young, I tend to use that as my first line of defense. So if I'm ever tainting my wonderful relationship to reading by using it to fill a void, I definitely want to be aware of that and catch that and nip it in the bud. And I think those things will definitely prevent this from happening. I'm also going to be intentional about not overbuying. If I can get something at the library on Kindle Unlimited through Libby or Hoopla, I would rather do that than invite any more physical books in, at least at this point. Austin has a wonderful library system and I have a library card. I honestly should be taking advantage of it more. So I want to be more intentional about that. Those would feel like really supportive things that would prevent this huge, excessive library monster that has gotten out of control from ever happening again. And then how am I going to go forward with my reading? I feel like a lot of times when people cut down their home library or intend to cut down their home library, they do this huge thing of like reading to zero, only reading from my physical TBR, blah, 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 blah. And I thought about doing that, but honestly, I'm gonna be so real, that shit kind of rubs me the wrong way. It really does. It feels like the same pressure that I've put around my reading in one way, just like flipped the other way and overcorrected. Like, I don't want to feel any kind of pressure or obligation around my reading time. I just want it to be open and free and me following my mood and enjoying my time reading books that I love. So I'm not going to put any pressure around it. I'm not doing a read to zero challenge. I might have books on my shelves that go unread until the day I die, and that's okay. I'm not going to be weird and police myself about what I have on my shelves or what I have or haven't read. Fine, whatever. I just don't want to be overwhelmed by the amount of books that I have. So therein lies the challenge for me, to not fall into a place of pressure and expectation and to just allow myself to be a little bit more tapped in, embodied, aligned with the way that I read and the way that I buy and store books. Okay, I'm back at it. Please don't look at me. I can't do this. My boyfriend is watching me film for the first time off camera and it's extremely nerve-wracking. I'm going through the second of my TBR shelves. I've got this first section cleared out. This is what I'm getting rid of. All of these paperbacks, most of them are thrillers. Most of them have been spoiled for me or I've heard they're really bad or really boring. We're getting rid of those. And I also have this stack that I'm getting rid of. The rest of them I'm keeping. And now we're on to my next shelf, which is mostly nonfiction. So I feel like it's gonna be pretty easy to sort out what I do want to read and what I don't. Okay, wish me luck. $700 pages of straight up smut. I'm down for that. A kidnapped pregnant teen is a ruthless survivor. Yes.
These little things are in this book. Do you want them? Going bi-coastal.
I think it's a boy and a girl. A girl gets to be with a boy and a girl.
How exciting.
That is exciting. Fion? This is not a name. F-F-I-O-N. Fifion?
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 What are you laughing at?
This is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. Who owns this?
You do.
This is so stupid.
I concur.
Oh. I'm done sorting. It's time to put the books on the shelves. I'm afraid the way that I look crazy in this shot right now. No, because this is nuts. This is nuts. This is everything I'm getting rid of, by the way. What the fuck? I'm just so gagged. Boba, are you feeling gagged? Boba's literally gagged the boots, you guys. Look at her. Oh, the angel girl. Well, it's time to organize all of these onto there. So, let's do it.
My ex, the Antichrist.
Yep, and that's real.
He's ruthless. A walking red flag. Good thing red is my favorite color.
Yeah.
Did it go?
Yeah.
Huh.
They'll see the back of your head when I speed this up. I'm feeling very overwhelmed.
It's a lot, I understand. It's already stacked though, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay, it's just this.
It's just this.
It's just this. I don't have to even look at that.
No.
That's crazy. It's this.
It's just this.
It's just this.
Knowing you, do you think it would help if you had some background music playing while you were doing this?
Yeah, sing to me.
Sing to you?
Put on your Lana or your Charlie or something.
Well, can you chat with me actually?
I can chat with you. You just keep locked in.
Why? No. What is this? What are you doing?
I just needed to get to these. Let's fucking do it, bitch. Okay.
Let's fucking do it, bitch. I'll get started on what kind of tea you want.
I've done it. I've done it! Guys, I've done it. Oh my god, okay. Okay, let me take you through. Here is the TBR shelf section. It's still a little chaotic, but much better. Over here, the top shelf, we have all the romance books that I kept. Below, horror. Below that, more horror. Below that, thrillers. 2 huge sections of hardcover thrillers. Up here I have nonfiction, and then stacked in front I have manga and all my Chuck Palahniuk books and the classics that I've yet to read. Below that I have YA and childhood favorites that I want to reread. Below that we have fantasy, paperback thrillers, and contemporaries on the bottom. Holy shit. Holy shit. Look at this. I am getting rid of, my boyfriend said, over half of the books that I had on my shelves. I would like to count, but I just simply want them out of here. I was gonna list them on Pango, but I don't even think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna take them all to half price books and let the employees fucking freak out and shit themselves. I feel very accomplished, very refreshed. I'm excited to put my little doodads back on my shelves and go to bed knowing that I'm reversing the consumerism and overconsumption that I unfortunately felt privy to. I'm gonna throw it back to Haley from earlier in the day when we had our discussion to close out this video. But thank you guys for watching along as I clean out and reorganize my bookshelves. So that is going to be all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to hear a little bit about my take on overconsumption on booktube and how that's affected me. If this resonated with you at all, please let's talk about it down below. Let me know any and all thoughts you're having. Like, I truly just want to pick y'all's brains about this because I've gone down such a booktube overconsumption rabbit hole as of late. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like and and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for booktube content that is a little bit more aware, discerning, outside of the booktube machine. That's where I'm trying to be. I'm also trying to just really tap in to me and what feels aligned with me. So maybe we're not always going to talk about books. Maybe we're going to talk about more expanded things over here. And if you're excited for that, subscribe. And of course, don't forget to go down below and check out Shortform. You can get a free trial and money off using my link. And thanks again for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week. Don't forget to go to therapy and read a book this week, and I will see you guys in my next one.